Hello everyone and welcome to a very nice attacking game you guys sent me that I should cover as soon as I finish with the World Cup, and as the World Cup now finished, I'm getting to it, so thank you for that. And whenever you have a fine attacking game or just a wonderful game in general, do send it over. I will definitely enjoy sharing it with everyone else. So we have this is round 8 of the Abu Dhabi Festival, Abu Dhabi Chess Festival, and we have Bibisara Assaubayeva of Kazakhstan versus Pranav of India. Wonderful attacking game. Let's check it out and see what's happening. So here we are, pawn to c4 by Bibisara, knight to f6 by Pranav, knight to c3, and pawn to c5. We have knight to f3 and knight to c6. So again, the 4 knights of the English, the symmetrical variation. And now standard here is g3 or d4. Bibisara goes for d4. We have c captures, knight captures, and now pawn to e6. And here again, g3 is by far the most common move. But she goes for bishop to f4, and okay, it's not very popular, but it has been played by some incredible players like Magnus played it, Svidler played it, Yanni Bomnishi played it, Wesley So played it, Boris Gelfand played it. So many strong players played it. And here we have pawn to a6. Now this move is very rare, and usually you will see it when you have knights on c3 and d4, much like in this when you're playing against the Sicilian, a6 will be played. So here e4, going for the so-called Marozzi pawn structure, and bishop to b4 now. Of course, pinning the knight. The threat is knight captures on e4, and she defends it by playing knight captures on c6, b captures, and bishop to d3. Just nicely defending the e4 pawn, so you don't have to worry about bishop captures on c3. And okay, you could castle now, and there is a game where castles was played, but here we have pawn to d6, and it is now, as of move 9, that we have a completely new game. So okay, she first starts with pawn to h3, and here Pranav trades on c3. Bishop captures on c3, so he gives up the bishop pair to mess up her pawn structure. Now she has a doubled c-pawn, and okay, we have pawn to e5, chases away the bishop, bishop to e3, and now bishop to e6. And you can see that his pawn structure is much better here. What she has in return is, okay, the potential for the open b file, which he does have as well, but she does have the bishop pair. So if she can get those bishops to optimal diagonals, should be very good. We have castles, and now knight to d7. We have pawn to f4. It's time to strike against the black king, as the black king is still in the center of the board. E captures on f4, and bishop captures. And this is before we continue the game, I would just like to point out the importance of this f4 move. Now, just the mere fact that the black king is still in the center of the board should give you sort of, your spidey sense should start tingling. We have to play f4, because if black captures, we're gonna play bishop captures, and we're gonna be attacking the d6 pawn. Black has to deal with this, and that's gonna prolong the castling of the black king at least for one more move. It's always a good thing to have in mind. And of course, if you don't capture, well, then you always have to worry about pawn to f5, which, I mean, would trap the bishop, so not the greatest. Okay, e captures on f4, bishop captures, and now queen to c7. And already we have the mistake that most likely cost Pranav the game. Now, how you should play this, if you already played all the way to here, is queen to b6 check. Now you could block with the rook, you could move the king, doesn't really matter. And now play knight to e5, and this is the way to defend the pawn. And if white persists, let's say queen to c2, if she would go after the pawn, he could play rook to d8, and that's pretty much it. The pawn is defended, next you castle, and a good game, everyone. However, after bishop captures on f4, he played this reckless queen to c7 move, and now she counters with bishop to c2. Now the d6 pawn is hanging, and how do you deal with this? The problem is now, okay, you could still go for the queen b6 knight e5 idea, but now it's like admitting that queen to c7 was a terrible mistake, and we've spoken about this on the channel quite a lot. Chess players never do this. You're never going to admit you've made a mistake and lose a tempo, but still, if queen to b6 check, king h2, and knight to e5 now the d6 pawn is hanging, because bishop to c2 has already been played. And okay, you could go for this, knight captures on c4, attacks the white queen, and once the queen moves, you could castle. But it's still gonna be very hard to play. Probably you have to play f6 here first, and then king f7, because if you castle, e5 opens up, and now checkmate is being threatened. Let's say g6, rook a to e1. White has incredible development. Something like bishop g5 to f6 can be played. Maybe the queen finds her way over to h6, and a checkmating attack will be very, very hard to stop. Probably it will not be possible. Objectively, it's a lost game for black already at this point. So he decided for bishop captures on c4 instead. This will win him the c4 pawn and the c3 pawn. As you'll see, bishop captures on d6, grabbing the pawn back, but that's not really important. The important thing is that the black king remains in the center of the board, which is the theme of this game. Queen to a5, and now rook to f2, as the rook on f1 is still hanging, so rook f2. Queen captures on c3, and now, okay, how do you play this? You're up a pawn with black, but chances are you're not going to be able to keep it. Rook to c1, now threatening some nasty discovery, so the queen moves to e3, and now bishop to a4, opening up a discovery on the undefended bishop on c4. We have bishop back to e6, and now comes rook captures on c6. So she wins back the pawn. Black is not up in material, and the black king is still stuck in the center of the board. So look at this, the bishop slicing over here, bishop slicing over here. Remember at the beginning of the game, where Pranav took on c3, we said, okay, he has a better pawn structure, but she has the bishop pair. Now he has no pawn structure, and her bishop pair is, well, definitely the bishop pair from hell. And here we have rook to d8. If you try something like f6, it does seem like something you want to do, f6, king f7, and try to just bring the rook into the game. It's too slow. Bishop a3, and now, okay, king f7, already rook captures on e6, ends the game. That's it. If king captures, queen to d5 is checkmate. There's no defense. So instead, after rook captures on c6, he plays rook to d8, gets another defender into the game, also nicely aligns it with the white queen, and here we have bishop to c5, making room for the queen to enter the game, and we have queen to g5, and now there are many ways to end the game here. There's a mate in 9, there's a mate in 8, so, you know, feel free to spot whichever one you like. Pause the video and find a win for Bibisara while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on always trying to find the quickest way to your opponent's king. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is rook captures on e6. This is the quickest way to do it. And also you can play queen to d6. This is the second quickest way to do it. She went for queen to d6, but just to give you an example of why this is fastest, you're in check and your only option is to give up the queen or to capture the rook. So okay, you're going to capture the rook, and now you play queen to d6 with the threat of queen captures, and then black will have no move. So you're going to have to give up the queen with queen captures on c5, as of course the queen is not defended. The knight cannot move from d7. So you're going to capture, and now after black plays something, doesn't really matter, you can just start capturing. Bishop captures with check, king captures, rook f7 check, king to d8, and queen to c7 check, king e8, and now anything here will be checkmate. So instead, after queen to g5, she played queen to d6. This is the second quickest way to do it. And now we have bishop captures on h3. Now she played queen to d6 because she wanted to end the game with style. Let's say if a silly move is played, then she can just sacrifice her queen, and then if f captures, rook captures on e6 with check, and you have no moves. You have to block with the queen, and rook captures will be checkmate, as the other rook controls the entire f file. So instead, he played bishop captures on h3, and now there's well, it's okay, sort of a useful move, but rook to c7, just piling up on that knight on d7. And next, well, wait until you see what happens next. Pranav played pawn to h5, but she just played rook to d2, brought a fourth attacker to the knight on d7, and he was in this position on move 25 that Pranav resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So 25 moves in modern times in 2023 definitely is a miniature, and you've seen how easily, you know, things just got completely out of hand. He played that reckless queen to c7 move, which was a terrible loss of a tempo, and she just, you know, capitalized on it and took advantage of it very nicely. So here you resign, of course, because there's no move black can make. There's really no move black can make. You cannot move like you move the rook h6, you attack the queen, queen f8 is checkmate. Remember, the knight cannot move anywhere. Other than that, if you move the queen from this diagonal, then just queen to e7 is checkmate, so you can't do that. What else can we do? Let's say you play a silly move. You play something like pawn to h4, then you get pawn to e5. And now if you make another silly move, because you don't have moves other than silly moves, then you start capturing on d7. Rook captures, bishop captures on d7, bishop captures on d7, and now just queen captures will be checkmate. So regardless of what you do, you're just going to start gobbling up on d7 and very quickly deliver checkmate. So brilliant attacking game by Bibisara Assaubayeva. If you have, if I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sorry, I don't know how to properly pronounce it. Do send me an email, with the correct pronunciation, and I will remember it for future videos. But yeah, from move 9, where we had a completely new game, very quickly, he gave up the bishop pair, and already here with this reckless queen to c7 move on move 15, the game was basically over. There's no good way to counter bishop to c2, and it's probably something you don't expect. Like you're probably expecting a developing move like rook to b1 or something else, like maybe pawn to c5, try and take advantage of this. And okay, those moves could all be countered, but bishop to c2, such an annoying little move, and you're trying to hang on, but it just completely destroys you, and the white just takes control over the entire board, and there's really nothing for you to do. The bishops become unstoppable. That's pretty much the story of this game. So always be careful in your own games not to run into something like that. And even this capturing on c3, maybe not all that impressive. Yeah, it was this was round 8. Like we said, up until this point, Bibisara did not lose a single game, and had she won in the final round, she lost in the final round, but had she won in the final round, she would be in the top 10 of the Abu Dhabi Chess Masters, and in good company. Just to give you an example, the tournament was won by Vladimir Fedoseev with 7 out of 9, Xiangyu Shu also with 7 out of 9 in second place. Then we have a whole lot of players with 6.5, like Abdimalik Abdisalimov, who defeated her in the final round. Then we have Chitarambam Aravind, then Volodar Murzin, Vladislav Artemiev, Shanglei Lu, and Narayanan, Hans Niemann, and Maxim Matlakov. Those are the top 10. Most of them all on 6.5 points. So it was close, but she lost in the final round. But yeah, a very nice attacking game. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for recommending it. If you have any other recommendations, send me an email or contact me on any social media, or just leave a comment using #suggestion, and I will go over your games. So yeah, that's the game. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. Another English brilliancy, if you will. I would like to thank GuernseyChessFestival.org.gg, Denis Frezato, Samir Angosh, Rajashri Chaudhuri, and Robert Bloom for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions, such as this one and everything else that's happening in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.